Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and these are Charter Moms Chats. And this summer, we're sharing information to help families keep their kids learning, keep their skills sharp over the summer. But it's summer, and so we want to make it fun. And so we have a guest post today. And if you check the description of the video, there's a link that will take you to the guest post. And our guest post author is Ellen Castro. She is a subject expert teacher for first and second grade math and science at Basis San Antonio Northeast Campus. And she's joining us to talk about the activities in the blog post. So thank you, Ellen.
Thank you for having me, Inga. I really, really appreciate it. I'm really excited to really share the different kinds of math activities that we can do over the summer to help our kids. So absolutely.
Yeah. So I really appreciate this post because like all of these are outdoors, which is perfect for summer, right? And it changes it up a little bit because right during the school year, they're in the classroom, they're often indoors, but in the summer, you want to play outside. And these are activities that work for lots of different ages. So it's like some of them work really great for young kids, and some of them could work for the whole family. So it makes the activities really versatile.
Absolutely. I think it's really important to get our kids outside. Summer is the perfect time. All this technology and all this, indoor stuff that the kids just want to constantly be on. We need to figure out some ways to make it fun and to get them out. So this is the perfect way.
Yeah, yeah, change up the routine. And the activities you came up with, they use like objects and things that they'll find when they're playing outside. So I think that's great.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I think there's a lot of benefits to just being outside. Not only does it engage families and communities together, but it also lowers stress level for students. Just learning a different way, not being inside a classroom. Not everything has to be indoors. Just getting your kids outside is also another way to decrease symptoms of ADHD because these kids want to be active. They want to do things that are hands-on. Being outdoors, it's just the perfect way. And so math is one of the concepts that you can definitely use outdoors. And so I'm here to share some ideas for you and your family to be able to do together and just get those kids out and get them ready for next year.
Yeah. So well, let's dive into some of the activities. So the one that you recommend for young kids, it's kind of like well, there's a printable, right? Which again, there's a link in the
Yes.
blog post. So talk about how they would use the printable when they go outside.
So the principle is there's a link on there on the article, but you basically put it on a clipboard, get a pencil, and have your kiddos just go out and count all the different things that they see outside. And the wonderful thing about this activity is that you can customize it. If your children are into butterflies, put some butterflies in there. Just make a little drawing. You can even make it yourself if you don't want to print it out, get it on a piece of paper and just draw the butterflies that you're going to count. You can count worms. You can count pink flowers. If your child is in love with pink flowers, let's go count all those pink flowers outside. And then another thing too is that it doesn't have to always be digits. I had my students use tally marks, learn how to use those tally marks and group them into fives. And so that's the thing that I really, really like about this one activity is that it gets the kids outdoors. They're involving math, also helping them learn their finger sense counting using their fingers. That is a very important concept to learn in addition to learn addition. And so, yeah, this is just make it as creative as possible to fit your child's needs.
Yeah. I think well, like one thing I hear from parents, like they're worried about like, will my kid be ready for next year? Are they ready to be ready for kindergarten? Are they be ready for first grade? But they also are like, well, I want my kid to learn, but like I don't want them to feel stressed out. I don't want them to feel pressure. But I think that being outside, it changes things up a little bit, and they might not be feeling pressured the same way as if they were sitting at a desk and had their school supplies and stuff.
Right, right. I honestly, discovery learning. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're learning things just by being outside and incorporating nature and just real life things that you see outside, and they'll be able to make those connections when they go back into class, like, oh, you know what, I learned how to count and do tally marks with my mom or grandma, this over the summer by drawing tally marks and just counting. Those things are just the basic, preschool, kindergarten concepts that they really need to master in order to really be successful in school. And so just getting them outdoors, I honestly, that is wonderful. The kids will love it. They'll remember it. It'll get stuck in their brain for, I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful way to just implement a fun. It's fun. It includes science. It can include, some science in there and math. I mean, what better way to learn all of that? And yeah, I definitely think that if they use this concept, this is something that will benefit them for sure for next year.
I think I know some people in grad school who pretty much do this for their, right? It's like,
Yes.
How many marine mammals are there, right? It's like,
yes, my kiddos loved, my students at basis, they absolutely loved just going outside. Every time we did, well, all right, we're gonna do some math outdoors, yay! And they were just so excited, and they absolutely love it. And yeah, definitely recommend it.
Yeah. Well, okay, so for kids that are just a little bit older, you recommend that they get some rocks and like start like putting the rocks into patterns. So talk about that activity. I love the idea of just like, like, of course there's like, right in Texas we have lots of landscaping that involves rocks. So I think, or there's parks and playgrounds that have gravel to keep the mud down, and right, there's lots of opportunities for this. So but how do you incorporate the math into that, the playing with rocks?
Okay, so first of all, we should not have any trouble finding rocks because there's rocks everywhere in Texas. But yeah, even if you don't, let me just say, if you don't have rocks, or there's no area nearby that has rocks, use some Legos, use some little pom-pom, little decorations, little pom-pom balls, or just use something creative. It doesn't have to be specifically rocks, but the way that I incorporated the rocks in this activity is making arrays. Which is a very important concept for the third graders to maybe fourth, fifth graders, just to practice their multiplication. And so if you notice on that picture, that's my son, that's my nephew. They absolutely loved it. Yes, they were challenging each other. And so one would create one array, ask the other one for, hey, what is this one? And they would have to say it in the specific order. So if it was you usually count your rows and then your columns, they had to make sure that they said it that way. And so it also teaches them the commutative property of multiplication. So 3 times 4 is not, it equals 12, just like 4 times 3 equals 12, but the arrays are different. And so it helps them practice and learn a little bit of the commutative property of multiplication. And so it was great. And another thing too that you can probably incorporate is some chalk. So they could create the L-shape lines that form the rows and the columns. They can write the amount of rows or how much is in each row. So putting chalk in there is another great thing that you can probably add in there. Just be creative. And even if you're not able to be outdoors on a rainy day, let's say, maybe in the kitchen, use some pretzels, use some Cheerios, make those arrays in there. I mean, there's so many fun ways to learn math. So it's just fun. I absolutely love and have a passion for teaching the kids, and they love it. They absolutely love all these creative hands-on math activities that we have here at Basis and even at home. So
yeah.
Yes.
My daughter likes baking, and like she'll make like a chocolate sheet cake, and then that's an array when you cut the cake into pieces. So she's like, oh, it made that many pieces. Like, yeah, well, look how many on this side, look how many on this side, and there you go, and it's delicious. So.
Yes, and even with dolls, if they have a lot of stuffed animals, make rows of stuffed animals. My daughter has a lot of stuffed animals at home, so I know she could put those in arrays and challenges her little brother. And there's just so many fun creative math activities that we can do with the whole family. So absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think like part of why I really appreciate these guest posts is that not only are we giving the SU Charter Moms audience these tools to help keep their kids learning over the summer, but it also gives families a glimpse into what approaches a school basis is using to teach math. And
Right.
like I think it's like well known in the community that basis students are very prepared for college and they go to really selective schools and they earn tons of scholarships. Like these are really elite students, like once they've put in the years, to get a basis education. But I think it can feel, I think parents are worried like, oh, would my kid be happy there? But like, if you look at these activities, like these are fun. This isn't like a high pressure environment. This isn't stressful. Like, they're playing with, they have objects to play with. And, and the teachers are like, you are making
Absolutely.
it, they're making it engaging and fun and putting the kids at
Yes.
ease.
Yes, and like you said, Basis Charter Schools has been ranked consistently ranked among one of the best in the nation. And so, what I really, really love about working here is that it allows me the flexibility to teach the way I know my students need to learn. And so, we're able to differentiate instruction in different ways to fit their needs. And so, I have my children here at Basis, and they absolutely love it right now, since it's just they're so excited for next year. They just can't wait to start, and I'm just excited, just as excited as them. We just have a wonderful group of teachers that are also passionate about what they teach, and it shows. I mean, you can tell I love math a lot, and they know it. They notice it. My students know that I love math, and I get excited just when they get excited, and so it's a great school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and like I said earlier, I'm fairly new to San Antonio, but Basis is just they just set high standards for their students, but their students absolutely excel, and they do it with just the excellent teachers that are here. So yeah, it's such a pleasure to be working here and to be able to teach my kids the way I know that they need to learn.
Yeah, I should mention. So in your guest post, there's a link to the enrollment guide blog post that SH Short Moms updates every year, and that talks about things like what does it mean, like subject expert teacher. So I think one thing that's unique about BASIS, I think most families are used to the idea that when a kid goes to middle school or high school, when they go to English, that's the English teacher, right? When they go to math, that's the math teacher. But like BASIS has even at younger grades is teamwork of right. There's like teachers who
Yes.
are child development experts, and they're making sure that the kids are learning to work together and play together and that the kids are like safe and comfortable. And but teachers like you who are passionate about math and science can focus on math and science, and then teachers who are
Yes.
passionate about social studies or literature can focus on those subjects. And same thing with like
Absolutely.
the like PE teacher or martial arts or art. Like teachers get to teach what they love.
Yes, that is absolutely true. I think that was, that's one of the things that I think really shows with Basis is that they select teachers that really truly share a passion for what they teach. And so, and like I said, I'm a first and second grade math subject expert teacher, and so everybody has their subject, and then there's the learning expert teacher that also works together with myself, and we basically work as a team in each classroom. And so the kids move from one classroom to another. There's always two teachers working together, sharing their expertise. And it's just a wonderful concept.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I wish Basis Primary didn't open early enough. My kids had already gotten big by the time Basis Primary opened, but I'm really happy that it's here, and I'm happy that there's multiple campuses. Actually, at the end, I'll talk more like details for families about Basis, but there are multiple Basis Primary campuses in San
Yes.
Antonio. So
Yes,
okay,
there
well,
is.
I want to be sure and talk about the I think this is my favorite of the activities because, and like you say in the post, like the whole family can do it together. And I think
Absolutely.
like I just picked like we're gonna have fun with this one. And so, but it involves and also too like it involves graph paper and a
Mhm.
scavenger hunt, and like so it just brings together like so many skills. So I was wondering if you could talk more about that activity.
So on this one, my kids, those are my kiddos right there. They absolutely loved it. Yes, my son actually came up with a really good idea. He's like, Mom, let's go and do a scavenger hunt around the neighborhood. Like, let's go hide some secret stuff. I'm like, that is a wonderful idea. And we're actually getting ready to do that very, very soon because they will always remember this. So what I did is I put stickies in every plot line that I selected
Oh
on
yeah,
there for them.
that's
And yes, they actually got their individual ones. And so what I told them is, okay, here's your plot lines that you need to find, and here are the ones that you need to find. Go and try to find as many as you can. And once you give me all those stickies, I'm going to give you a reward. You can change that up and customize it to whatever will fit your family's adventure. So one other way that you could also do it is instead of sticky notes, hide some little small treasures, little prizes. Or another one too that I was thinking is if you guys are planning a family vacation very soon, hide some secret clues for where you guys are going to go. If you guys are going to the beach, maybe hide a sandal, maybe hide a towel, a beach towel, at every single one. So just really just gets the kids so excited about finding the next clue. And you can involve the whole family. You can have grandpa, granddaughter against grandpa, grandson, and hey, let's go and find as many as we can. Honestly, there's so many fun, free ways that you can learn math. And this one's for, teenagers, parents, grandparents, everybody can be involved in this one. So it's, you're learning math, you're engaging your family, and you're having fun. Like what
yeah.
else do you want? That's the perfect activity. And so that is awesome. Scavenger hunts, just go on a scavenger hunt. You can do it at
Yeah,
a park, the zoo, a theme park, the neighborhood, anywhere. So it's wonderful. That was one of my favorite ones.
yeah, and there's so much like real world stuff. Like the kids may look at maps in books, but when they're like trying to like read a map and then apply that to the world around them, like that, that's important. Like the map is an abstraction, and just be able to like stretch your mind that way, and thinking about the graph space as like, where are things in their relative positions? And then, yeah, my son has been studying algebra this year and doing a lot with graphing. And then um, like when you see the equations of variables, it can seem kind of abstract, but then you realize like, oh, well, that means like the ball is going to roll faster down that hill because the slope is this, that there's real world meaning to the
Yes.
numbers. And I think it's very like for me as a math student, I was always good at following directions, using the process, getting to the answer. But it felt like it took just the way math was taught to me, it took longer to like understand the real world meaning of it. And I don't think it wasn't until I did things like baking and sewing, and those were some of my favorite hobbies. But like in sewing, it's like, oh, I'm making a coat, but it's for a bigger person. How do I make this pattern fit this bigger person, right? And you have to do the fractions.
Yes.
Or like, oh, I'm making half a cake, so I have to do the fractions. And then like then you understand that these numbers mean something, and you have to get you have to get the numbers right, or the coat won't fit, or the cake comes out
Yes.
like a brick.
Absolutely. And another thing too about baking is that you're learning units of measurement like cups and volume and all of that. So that's another fun way to just learn math and apply it to real life, situations. And yeah, like right now with our second graders, they're learning about perimeter and area. And I'm like, you guys, this is real life. So, this is real life math that you're going to need in the future when you grow older and you're going to have to buy your house. You're going to need to know how much flooring you're going to put in that room. You need to know area. And so I always love to remind our students that a lot of the math concepts that they learn early on apply to real life concepts that they need to really master. And so, they might not need to know, trigonometry much, but they will apply these basic fundamentals just of, adding and finding the area, finding the perimeter, plotting, graphing, all of that stuff, that really, really benefits our, us as adults. And so, yeah, I absolutely love all of these activities. I think your kids are gonna love it. I'm guarantee it. They're gonna love it. Just go out there and make it exciting. They're gonna want you to do more. Mom, Dad, come on, let's go outside. I want to do some of that math stuff. It's just a perfect way to just get them to love learning in a fun, creative way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's kind of like this overall project. Like, we plug these activities into this hub we call Charter a Voyage of Learning, and it's on the website here. I'm gonna pop it up on screen. Wait, wrong one. There we go. SAChartermoms.com. And if you see the Charter Voyage of Learning graphic, there's a whole bunch of these activities, and the message we want parents to have is that, like, learning can be fun, and you don't have to feel intimidated by this idea, right? So maybe there's this gap between, it's like, I want my kids to keep learning this summer, but parents may say, well, but I'm not a teacher, or so. And it's like, I think parents need to give themselves credit for all the little things they do where the education is woven into it. And that's why, like, a guest post like yours is so great, because like, this makes the math part fun, and then the parents can feel like heroes. It's like, yes, my kids are learning math and they're playing outside, they're not on screens, and they're like, Mom, let's do this again.
Yes, absolutely. I think especially this year, it's just been, last year with 2020-2021 school year, it's just been crazy. A lot of parents were very, very involved in their child's education. This would have definitely benefited them a lot last summer, when they were all indoors and, couldn't really go out, maybe their backyard and local neighborhood or local park. But yeah, like, you can still use it this year, every year on the weekends. Just, go outside, have fun with your kids, and learn math. Honestly, there's so many ways that you can implement math and things that you do on a daily basis. And you will start noticing that your kids will start noticing things around the house. Oh, hey, Mom, that looks like an array right there, or hey, can we bake and measure, use the measuring cup and let me do it, because my daughter loves to bake, and she was one that's like, Mom, please let me use the measuring cup. And they learned their fractions, but just by looking at the measuring cups. And so all kinds of fun ways, and math is all around us. So just be creative, and don't worry about, having to have it on paper and pen. I mean, just be creative. Use a lot of manipulatives. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate. I want to bring this back to talking about basis. So I'm gonna put the so you teach at Basis San Antonio Northeast, and I was wondering if you could talk about like like you mentioned that even with your students, there are times when you can take them outside to practice math. So can you talk more about how you teach math and science at Basis San Antonio Northeast?
Yes. So another thing that we do all the time is to do scavenger hunts, like I said earlier. Now, this one's not like the one that's on that I wrote on from our teens and families, which is a great way of learning for our higher kids. But one that is really easy, honestly, is just putting little postcards around the outside of the playground is what I did. And they have a clipboard, and they have to go and find the answer to every single one of those problems that I posted outside. So it could be, you could do multiplication, you could do flashcards with perimeter, double digit addition. And so what I did, I'll give you one example, is my kids had 10 flashcards outside that were numbered from 1 to 10. They had a clipboard and a piece of paper numbered 1 through 10. They had to solve every single one. They can go in different orders. If they find the number 10, go and solve, 21 plus 56 and write your answer until. So basically they had to find every single one, but they absolutely loved the freedom of just doing addition, being outside in just beautiful weather. And they're learning math. And so even the hardest students, the most challenging students who have a hard time staying, put or in their seats, this is the perfect way for them to get their jitters out and go and do some math. And so this works for all types of learners. are hands-on learners, are visual learners, and so it's just a wonderful, wonderful concept and a different idea that you can also use with your children at home over the summer. So yeah, like I said earlier, BASIS really allows the flexibility for teachers to just really customize it the way that if it's our children's needs, our students' needs. So yeah, they really allow that, and that's one of the most important things for me is to be able to feel that support and that trust that I know what is good for my students, and they let me. They see that their performances are great, and what else can you ask as a teacher? So that's absolutely one of the best things. And so, and all teachers here, we are very, very passionate about what we teach.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope I hope this blog post and this interview serves both purposes of like helping all families with kids to keep practicing math and having fun with it and getting outside in the summer. But I hope that for some families it kind of sparks their curiosity about, well, what is this BASIS charter schools? Like, maybe this is a new concept. And I just at enrollbasis.com is a website that campuses in different regions. So there's actually there's two in Austin, right? There's Louisiana, right? There's and then there's BASIS, there's DC, there's Arizona, right? The original campuses in Arizona.
Yes.
And here.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say there's 22 in Arizona. There's 7 in Louisiana, 2 in Louisiana, 7 in San Antonio, and then 1 in Washington, D.C. So yeah, we're all over the place. And so absolutely, you can go on basised.com and get more information on enrollment, information about our rankings, what our mission is, our values, and there's all that information is on basised.com.
Yeah. And so for families with young kids, they've got 3 different options in San Antonio. There's BASIS San Antonio Primary Medical Center, which is on the kind of northwest side. Then there's BASIS San Antonio Primary North Central, which is kind of near the airport. And then BASIS San Antonio Northeast, which is it's just up I-35, a little bit outside Loop 410. And that's the campus that you teach at.
Yes, right? That's my campus.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then those schools, BASIS Northeast is adding more grades. The other 2 schools kind of feed into BASIS Chavano. So that's like the sort of middle school, high school for BASIS. And it was ranked, I think, one of the top high schools in all of Texas.
Yes. And that information is also on basised.com with all the rankings from last year and before. And so, yeah, we are one of the highest ranking high schools in the nation, along with just the highest charter school and the highest ranking high school with STEM as well, the STEM program. So, it's a great school. All that information is on basised.com, and any information or phone calls or emails, all that information is also in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Ellen, thank you so much for joining me on Charter Moms Chats. Thank you for writing the wonderful guest post, and it's going to help a lot of families and kids have fun with math this summer. And I hope it helps make more families be aware of BASIS charter schools, which just offers a wonderful education, and it's free. It's a charter school, so it's free.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Inga, for having me. It was a pleasure to just be able to share my expertise and to just be able to help families out there in the summer. There's fun, creative ways to learn math, and so just try them out.
Great. Thank you so much. I look forward to I want to visit BASIS Northeast, and maybe I can pop in and see your classroom for a little bit.
Absolutely. We would be glad to have you. And yes, all that, we're just so excited for next year. It's coming up very soon. And our parents and staff and our head of operations, Chris Ferguson, is just wonderful. And so we're just excited to get started all over again. And it's a wonderful, wonderful school.
Okay. Thank you so much. Take care.
You have a great day.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.